Hey FIA, it's Anonymous. Yeah, look, I have it on good authority that Mercedes are cheating. What evidence do I have? They're too fast not to be. Have you seen them? Well, look, it might be best if you just maybe sit them out for Brazil just while you investigate these accusations. I'm not desperate, you're desperate. Hey guys, I'm Aussie Villain and welcome back to Kicking Haas. It is the second last race of the season in Brazil, and in all honesty, this is probably the race we fall behind Mercedes for back to fourth, and we are in all likelihood going to take engine penalties. We've got to change something to try and beat them, and the only thing we can really do at this point is look to get new power units in. I'm not going to do it before the race. I just want to see, qualifying might be weird, they may be taking penalties, so I don't want to commit to the penalty, but in all likelihood we will be taking penalties this race with K-Mag and possibly with Logan Sargeant as well. We'll have to see where we stand coming in and after qualifying. But in terms of what has been happening, there's not much to report on the cars because, as you can see there, we're still doing research, and there's a few we had to get some spare parts in after the Mexico Crash Fest, so that's all going to be completed soon. So yeah, there's not too much to report on that front. Even on the driver front, no development points for Sargeant or Magnussen. There is one for Jack Crawford, so we'll go and stick that onto smoothness, and he becomes now a 64 rated driver. And that'll be him done. There's nothing to report on the staff front or the facilities front. Really the finances. A very, very quiet day at the factory. We had 2 weeks off in between races too, so it's just the end of the season, I suppose. Not much tends to happen. Now it looks like we're going to have a wet Friday, but a dry qualifying and the race, so that kind of throws that little bit of perhaps better in the works out of it that we probably need to be able to beat Mercedes. Red qualifying sector 1, blue sector 2, and yellow sector 3, so you know where the time checks are going to be coming in. Sections by speed, it's got a little bit of everything. It is one of my favorite tracks. It always has been, especially when you're driving it. I really, really enjoy it. It's medium and low speed corners. Now we know this tends to be what suits our car, but there is also, if we go back here, the long run, it's going to let me go over here. It is sort of out of this corner all the way down is pretty much flat. Then you've got another section here that is, pretty much from here all the way around to here almost is flat as well. A little bit of a lift here, obviously, brake there, but there is a lot of power needed for the track as well. Now it's looking as though it's going to be a 2-stop. If you really wanted to push a medium to hard, you might be able to do it, but probably not. We can see there that the loss from degradation even is a 1/10 of a second a lap on the soft tyre, and it's not that much quicker. So the soft tyre is probably not one to be on for this track. It looks as though it's going to be hard and medium, maybe a soft tire if you need it. But looking at that, I'm thinking we might want to try and save 2 sets of mediums and maybe use an extra set of softs in free practice. Last year's race, Magnussen 7th, we had Sargeant in 11th. Both of them are lap down, so hopefully we can at least stay on the lead lap. That looks as though Mercedes may have struggled last year with Russell 2 laps down and Hamilton a lap down. Though I think, was this a wet race last year as well? I can't remember now, but anyway. And powertrain usage, we don't tend to look at this. Yeah, I mean, we probably need to look at it more often if we're going to be aware of who's doing what. But yeah, I don't know who's taking penalties, and I never really looked at that before, to be honest. If I'm being completely truthful, I've just noticed now that it's even there. So let's go and have a look and see what our performance targets are. Reach Q2, we should be able to do that. I'd like to think we could reach Q3, though that's been a little bit of a struggle at times lately. Finishing position in one car in the top 12. Better happen, or else we're in some trouble. We need a finishing position of one car in the top 14 to win that little streak, and then we need we need one car in the top 14 here in the final race in Abu Dhabi next up, and that will give us some qualifying bonus streak bonuses as well. So that's everything. Let's go to Brazil. So confirmation of the weather, it's going to be a wet Friday, so it's going to make practice a little bit more dicey. But yeah, I'll go and do that. I'll see you for qualifying, and we'll know then, I suppose, if we're going to be taking engine penalties, if it's other people taking engine penalties. Yeah, we'll know when we go to qualify. Okay, we have done free practice. Let's have a look, and first things you're going to notice is a lot of penalties. Now, I initially got very excited by this. You'll notice, though, neither Mercedes is taking a penalty. Now, I've gone back and forth on what we do here a little bit. a part of me thinks everybody else that's around us in the top 10, with the exception of Verstappen, is also taking penalties. We could probably take a penalty and more or less get away with it. Ocon would be the other one, perhaps, as the Alpine it looks a little bit quicker than it has been previously. So I think we are going to take the penalties, because I think that the effect of it is going to be lessened by the fact that so many other people are as well. We came last and second last. We did have the old parts in, though. If we go to FP2, again, this was this interrupted by rain? I think it was just FP1 was interrupted by rain. Magnussen jumped in, went 16th. Sargeant, again, was dead last, which isn't great, but again, he's got old parts in. And then we can see in FP3, I did put a newer part in K-Mag's car, knowing that we were going to take penalties ourselves. So he went up to 13th, even with that slower, so the slower parts in, and Sargeant, again, was last, which is slightly concerning perhaps. But anyway, let's go and have a look here now. He was so close to getting I'm gonna go with it. I think he should get, we were like a little bit off of it's the same as it was, so let's just do that and get to where he was at 96. So what we're going to do is, as I said, we are going to take penalties. Sargeant doesn't need a new engine, I don't think, does he? I don't think he does. I think he's absolutely fine in terms of an engine. I think he's absolutely fine that there's no thinking about it with ERS. What Sargeant could use with is he's actually, gearbox is not too bad either, is it? So he's probably fine then. The only thing we would consider with him as an engine at 66, I think he's okay, isn't he? Surely. So it's K-Mag that we want to go to. Now with him, engine, we do need a new engine. 61, you could argue that's about the same as he's about the same as Sargeant, isn't it? Maybe we'll see where Sargeant qualifies. ERS, we definitely need a new one, because that is getting well below 50% at this point. And then gearbox, does K-Mag need a gearbox? No, his gearbox is not too bad, so he's probably okay on that front. Although, depending where he qualifies, we might be better off just putting one in anyway. So there we go. That is where we're at. I'm thinking Q1's going to be absolutely fine. A little bit concerned about Sargeant, but he should be good when he's got his new parts in. Okay, so we did get through in the end. K-Mag was 8th, and Sargeant actually did just sneak through. Now, it looks close. In hindsight, I probably should have done him a second run like I did with K-Mag. K-Mag got blocked on his first run. It was one of those, it was never really in doubt, but the track obviously got quite quick towards the end. So a little bit lucky perhaps with Sargeant, but realistically he was always far enough ahead that it was unlikely anybody was going to get past him. But yeah, a little bit too close for comfort there. Let's go to Q2. Okay, so we are coming around on our second run. Now, we're currently sitting 11th and 12th. Now, K-Mag's tyres was actually a third run for them. Sargeant's was on a U set that he used in Q1. So both drivers now have a new set. They've both done a green first sector. Let's go and see what sort of times we've got around us here. If we would, especially with K-Mag, take penalties and still find ourselves outside the top 10, that would be a devastating blow, I've got to say. But let's see what we can do. Have we both done a green middle sector? We have. We are the last two cars on track as well, which is good. Have we done enough? Are we quick enough to push ourselves into Q3 inside that top 10? Sargeant goes 12th. K-Mag goes 5th, but 13th for Sargeant. So Sargeant eliminated. Now that does make you think the difference in time with a new engine too. Remember that Sargeant's was 66% or something, wasn't it? Usually K-Mag's a couple of tenths, but it's a couple of tenths again a lap. I'm wondering, given that there's no one behind, whether he will move up with penalties, won't he? I might need to think about what we do with that. It might be worth, I mean, he's with the AlphaTauris. It might be worth just taking an engine and seeing how, come back through the grid. But anyway, K-Mag's in 5th for now. He's going to take penalties, obviously, but ahead of the Mercedes, which is very, very nice. Let's see what we can do here in Q3. All right, so K-Mag currently in 9th. He did his first run, as usual, on a used set. I just wanted to make sure we had a fresh set of softs for the race if we need it. Now, this track is absolutely eating soft tyres, so I don't think we're going to want to use a soft tyre in the race, but I'd rather have it there, if we need to. It really does all come down to this last run anyway. It just means he can't afford a mistake. He has done a green first sector. People in front, there's a lot of yellow up there, isn't there? Hamilton has not done a faster lap. Let's see what K-Mag can do. He's gone green. Can he get himself ahead of the Mercedes? It's not going to matter too much, of course, because there's penalties to come. But if he can get ahead of cars, that helps him with serving those penalties, and he goes 8th. Well, that was anticlimactic, wasn't it? So disappointing for K-Mag. He was slower than he was in Q2. If he'd done a Q2 lap of 6:51, he would have been fourth ahead of Norris. So that is, yeah. Wonder what happened there. Anyway, let's go take these penalties and see where it puts us. So right now, K-Mag is last, Sargeant is sixth. Now, if K-Mag is last anyway, there is absolutely no reason not to go and take another gearbox, is there? So we'll go and do that because it's not going to make one iota of difference. And we'll stick that in the car as well. So that's K-Mag pretty much set now. He's going to have to come from the back. We'll see how he goes. And Sargeant starting sixth. See, the issue we have is that if we'd taken the penalty earlier, it might have helped him a little bit. What's the penalty? Does it say what the penalty is? Is it 10 or 15 places? I can't remember. I can never remember. I think we've got to leave him where he is, don't we? I don't see the sense in dropping him down the order. So we'll leave it like that for now. Race strategy. I did keep 2 sets of mediums, so that helps us. We should have 2 new sets. I think what we're going to want to do is do the hard in the middle, try and be on the softest tire we can at the end of the race. Could we dare dream of a soft? Could we do medium, hard medium, and then soft at the end? We could. It's not like it's going to hurt us necessarily because we're still making 2 stops. We just get to use the better tire. So I don't see a reason not to do that, to be honest. And it would suggest we should do something similar for K-Mag, doesn't it? Soft, medium, hard, but do it the other way around. I think with K-Mag, I'm even wondering if he's starting from the back. I wonder if we start on a hard and then have medium and soft. But it's easier to overtake at the start of a race, isn't it? I'm wondering if we do something like that. He can't go any far further backwards. You know, if he sits there, if he conserves a little bit, maybe, you know, once everybody stops, then we can, what we do is we save his ERS, sorry, or even if we harvest it sort of towards lap 20 or so, and then we can kind of maybe do a couple of deploy laps and overcut some people. So maybe we do that. We've got to try something, don't we? So, and then we'll have both cars on the end that are soft. If we need to come in a bit earlier, we have a new set of mediums we can come in for as well. So I think I like the way this is going. Yeah, both cars have a new set of soft, medium, and hard. So we'll be using up all our new tires, and then we've got another set of new mediums if we want to do that as well. So that's what we'll do. We will push Sargeant on a little bit quicker, sooner. And K-Mag, I think we will just... we've got to try and make up as many positions early on as well, don't we? All right, let's do this. Okay, welcome back. We've got a Mercedes on the front row. Remember, we are 3 points ahead. We could really use a race where Mercedes just absolutely crap the bed. Are we going to get that? Unlikely. We're on board with Sargeant, though. We've got the Mercedes in second and third ahead of us. Sargeant needs to put in... he needs to be our hero today, doesn't he? The only car on a soft is Ricciardo. The only car on a hard is Magnussen, who is already ahead of Lando Norris. He'll be disappointed to have dropped back so far, given that he qualified 4th. I would have thought, anyway, as there's confirmation of Magnussen getting past Norris. But we've got to stay with these cars at the front, and we go put a move on, a good move as well. Now we should, there we go, have the power, get past Vettel in the AlphaTauri, and Sargeant sets a very early fastest lap of the race as Magnussen gets another one, and he's now got battling with Perez. Hasn't quite got him there though. Let's have a look at this. We've got in front of us is a Williams. Now, Schumacher loves a crash. Both Williamses do, actually. Schumacher and Tsunoda. Can we go and put a move on here? Oh, he's got one. Has Perez. Can we follow him through? Round the outside, maybe. Doesn't look like it's quite going to happen. Oh, there we go. Maybe. No. Come on. There we go. That should get the move done. Bit of a crisscross. Battery is empty. And so we'll... try and save a little bit with K-Mag, but we are about to have DRS activated anyway. So this has been, so far, a solid start, I'd say. We can see that the ERS around here should charge up relatively quickly. And of course, we've got the DRS in, where you would need it anyway. So if we can try and follow the Red Bull through here, that's got to be the best thing we can hope for. So we've got another Williams here. We need to get that out of the way as quickly as possible. Sargeant's still sitting there in 5th. But we'll let K-Mag get to work here. He's got to try and keep Leclerc in sight as well, of course, for third in that Drivers' Championship. Leclerc currently sitting in 8th. Can we get the move done on this Williams? Down the outside, no. Yuki, he's always tough to overtake, isn't he, Yuki? Let's see how this race develops. So I don't want to say Verstappen's in a race all of his own, but he's certainly quite a ways in front. And there's the Tsunoda crash. We've got Magnussen, though, up to 15th, so he's doing a decent job coming through. Oh, Sargeant! We needed you today, mate. Oh, you are really, really annoying me. And he's going to come out in last. What sort of damage has he done?
Now just focus on the Haas.
Oh, he's hit the wall as well. Oh, he's still committed to American-only drivers. He's got damage to the chassis. All right, well, we're going to have to call him in, aren't we? Let's... Okay, here we go. Pit options. It's going to pause it for me. All right, well, I guess what we do is we put him on the hard tyre. And we're probably then going to have to put him on a medium instead of a soft. So, I mean, there's no questioning. It's not going to cost him time, but we'll try and limit it as much as possible. And of course, with a damaged chassis as well, that is just so infuriating. Alright, so we have pit stops happening now for the cars that were on a medium tyre to start the race. That's moved K-Mag up into 6th. Verstappen has pitted and come out back in the lead. He is absolutely walking this race. But yeah, Sargeant is back up to 17th, as you can see. I mean, he can just do his best at this point. But K-Mag, this is his time to shine now. He needs to keep it on the track for us. Everybody else is going to be on the same compound of tyre as him, I'm assuming. Tyre compounds, yep. So, except for Verstappen, who's on another medium. So yeah, we're bringing Magnussen back into this race nicely. He's got the 2 Mercedes directly ahead of him now and battling. Hopefully, they're going to slow each other up. But Sargeant, I just don't know. I can't even say the name right now. All right, so K-Mag currently sitting in 3rd. He's about to come in and make his first stop. We do have Leclerc running 4th now, which is a little bit of a concern. Is he coming in this lap? Nope, we're on board with this. Okay, this is Magnussen. That was Sargeant down there in 17th. Yeah, so this is Magnussen. He's, as I say, running in 3rd. That's a Ferrari of Science in front, who has overtaken him a couple of laps ago on fresher tyres, of course. Just not quite being able to go with him. We'll go back to standard use of the tyres. Hopefully we get a nice quick one from the Haas boys here, and we'll see where this is going to bring us out. If we can dare dream of coming out ahead of Russell, that would be nice. Russell stopped later of the 2 Mercedes. On go the medium tyres. Doesn't look like... Oh, we're going to be roughly with Ricciardo, are we? Behind... Where are we coming out here? So that is... Who is that in front of us? Bottas. So we're 14th. Not a mile behind Russell, but still outside the points. And, of course, ahead of Sargeant, the Muppet. So this is quite the battle that Magnussen has come out behind. It's such a shame we couldn't get a couple of seconds up the road and miss all of this. But what we're doing right now is we're just going to harvest as much energy as we can. It's a DRS train, so there's no point necessarily relying on DRS. But we'll harvest as a full battery. Hopefully it won't take us too many laps. And then we'll go sort of all out. We'll put it on overtake and try and pick these guys off one at a time. Looks as though it's up to Norris in 8th in front of us. Then there's quite a bit of a gap to get to Alonso and Hamilton. So, yeah, that's the plan right now. Probably one more lap of harvesting and we should be good to go. And we don't want anybody sort of getting ahead of Norris. Looks like Vettel is up there as well and might be just dropping off the back of Lando Norris. So this should get us close to 100%. Not quite there yet, but I reckon this time next lap, we've got Daniel Ricciardo on a hard tyre in front of us. You remember he started on a soft. So he's sort of doing the reverse Magnussen strategy, it looks like. And battery's fully charged. So we'll stick him on overtake and see if he can, like I say, start picking these guys off one by one. And there is quite a bit of charge around the lap here, so hopefully we'll be able to get a few laps of this. Let's see if we can get one overtake done down this front straight. There it is going to happen. Excellent work. Up to 13th. And now, hopefully, like I say, we can just pick these guys off. We've got a yellow flag in sector 1-3. Safety car. Safety car, safety car, safety car.
DRS is coming.
Okay, now we have some cars coming into the pits here. Verstappen went on to a hard to get... Okay, so they're thinking a hard tyre will get you to the end here. They've got about half the race to do. They might not be wrong, but they're going to have a little ways to go here. And it's only the two, only Verstappen and Sainz that have done it. Alright, so safety car is in this lap. Now,
Kev, if you've got some margin, try to increase the pace.
the big question we have, potentially, is... Oh, that's a bit much, isn't it? Let's stop swerving, please, K-Mag. Is do we go onto the ERS immediately and try and get... I think we've got to, don't we? Try and get some overtakes done here as much as possible. This has, of course, brought both of our cars back into things here. Now, the other thing for this is that it's bunched the field up when we know we're going onto a soft tyre at the end. So all those gaps that were sort of had opened up, especially for K-Mag trying to come back through, they've all been closed right back up. And he's got a nice, quick move done on Alexander Albon. No, it was a Bottas, sorry. Albon's in front of him now. Albon and Vettel, we need to get these AlphaTauris out of the way nice and quickly. Sargeant, meanwhile, is back a little bit further. You can see there, he's not a mile behind Magnussen now, but I'm still angry at him, so I'm not going to bother with him. Can we go down the outside here of the AlphaTauri on a hard tyre? Should have the inside now, and job done. Up to 11th now for Kevin Magnussen. We've got a little bit of extra petrol we can burn, so we're using that up. Someone's gone wide there. That is Verstappen. Max Verstappen, who was absolutely walking away with this race, has locked up into turn 3 and now finds himself down in 18th. That is harsh. Now, of course, we've got another move done there on the other AlphaTauri. Can we get something done on George Russell now on a hard tyre? You've got to say the Mercedes haven't quite had the pace that we've seen from them previously. DRS is now enabled. We will go off of our deploy. And I don't know if we get DRS this time down the straight. Doesn't look... Oh, no, we do. And can we get a move done on George Russell? What a drive this has been from K-Mag. Last to 8th. Now, last time we saw him go last to somewhere, it was last to 1st at the Dutch Grand Prix. Very different track. But, yeah, well, can we do something similar here? I'd settle for last to ahead of Hamilton, wherever that is. Last ahead of the Mercedes. Hamilton up there in 2nd, though, is currently looking very good to make sure our hearts get broken here again. We've got Lando Norris holding up a bit of a train. This might be a run. This might be a run. Can we get something done on somebody? Up the inside there. Come on, K-Mag. Use these tyres, mate. Doesn't look like it's quite going to happen. Can we follow him through? No. Out of the way, Alonso. Out of the way, mate. Oh, we've dropped off a little bit more there, haven't we? How are we doing for tyre life here? I'm thinking the longer we go... We want to go on the soft tyre as early as possible, really, don't we? I can't decide whether we want to... We don't want to push the tyre too soon. We're better off pushing it at the end of the stint rather than now and then finding ourselves a little bit shorter tyre life. Can we go up the inside? We've got another yellow flag in Sector 2. Is that somebody else we're going to be able to steal a position off of? No, it doesn't look like it. It was Perez running wide, so the other Red Bull... They've caught the Haas's. Terrible case of the Haas's. But anyway, we haven't gained anything from that. The Red Bulls look like they've taken another step forward, don't they? Perez is now running away with the race. So, yeah, that is... well, it's almost heartbreaking, isn't it? We're coming up towards the window for Sargeant, so we're telling him to push on. He'll no doubt stick it in the weeds, but... I guess we have to treat him like a fish. Oh, a little bit of a mistake there from Alonso, and we can't quite take advantage of that. We look like we're just a little bit stuck here right now, don't we? So, lap 48, and finally, Kevin Magnussen sticks it up the inside of Alonso, and is able to get that move done. Now we need to make quick work of this McLaren. Get after Russell. And one lap later, and Magnussen has been able to get his way past Lando Norris in the McLaren. George Russell still in sight. This is on. Come on, K-Mag. Let's go hunt this Mercedes now. Finally gets down the outside. Better acceleration, and there we go. And we also have lots and lots and lots of cars in the pits. And we've actually moved up now into 4th. And we've actually, Sargeant is one of those cars coming into the pits. Let's see what sort of stop we get for him. And we're waiting. We go all the way down to last, and that's what you get for having our pit box, isn't it? It's so frustrating we can't move with the championship position. Anyway, back to K-Mag. He is all over the back of Russell. Can he get a move done this lap? Is Russell going to pit this lap? That's a possibility. He's on a hard tyre, I think, isn't he, George Russell? He is. He does have a little bit more life than us, but here we go. DRS assisted. Can we get down the inside? Not quite. We're almost through our excess fuel, but he's probably got one more chance here. Let's go to overtake. I was a little bit too late on that. Sorry, K-Mag. That's my fault. And we're going to have to back off the petrol now, but we've just got to keep it close here and see if we can get this done. 20 laps to go and a soft tyre to come. So lap 52, a little bit of overtake assist with the DRS, and a lap later than it should have happened, Magnussen does get down the inside of George Russell. That could be a very important overtake in our season. Alright, so Kevin Magnussen coming in for his stop. Let's see where this brings him out. Leclerc is going to go in front of him, which isn't great for his 3rd place, but he's got a little bit of margin there. And soft tyres go on. He's got a nice little sprint to the end now. And is he going to come out in the point still? It looks as though he is. He's going to behind Norris again. Is he? Oh no, there's Alonso. Oh, that is disappointing. We need to get that back very quickly and use up these soft tyres. Can we get it done nice and early? There it is. Let's see if we can go on with this now. How far can we take these soft tyres, and can we get a fastest lap as well? Alright, we are coming around to start 3 laps to go, and this in front of us is Ocon versus Norris. Now, we have been taking about a second a lap out of them, pretty much since we put on these tyres, and they've been sort of going back and forth. Norris is the faster car here, but, well, Norris is not able to break free of the DRS, although he has managed to stay in front now. We need to, if we are going to get this done, yellow flag in Sector 2. Is that going to benefit us in any way? It doesn't look like it. Sargeant is battling with Tsunoda right now. He can't beat a Williams. He's angered me. He's angered me today, and I'm considering his future at the team, to be honest. There we go again, Tsunoda getting past. But yeah, within DRS, 2 laps to go. Ideally, we need to get both of these moves done. We're going to go a little bit more aggressive on our tyres now, and hopefully we can get one of these guys this lap, one of them the next lap. And George Russell, you can just see him on the horizon. We're not going to quite get back to getting in front of him, unfortunately. But let's see what we can do here as Sainz starts the final lap of the race. Come on. K-Mag, you need to get both of these guys, please. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Following through. Following through. Oh, come on. Let's go overtake. We need to get one here and then maybe one in the infield section. It might be doable. There's another yellow flag in Sector 2. Is this one that's going to help us? Doesn't look like it. Look at that. Look how quickly we're catching George Russell. There's another Williams spin. It's going to be a Carlos Sainz race win. But are we going to be able to get anything done? Can we stick one up the inside? No. And it's going to be last to 9th for Kevin Magnussen with Mercedes 5th and 6th. So, not a great day. Up 11 places. I mean, it was a great drive for Magnussen, but in terms of the team, not a great result. Leclerc in 4th as well has taken 10 points out of K-Mag. I think that's still going to have him in 3rd. It is. It's still relatively comfortable. K-Mag just needs a solid result in the last race, and he'll have that nailed down. Sargeant is still a chance of getting in the top 10, but honestly, he's just annoying me so much the end of this year. And there it is. The inevitable has happened. Mercedes has overtaken us into 4th. We're going to need, 13 more points than them in the final race, and I mean, I'd say we could, K-Mag might be able to do something. You just can't see Sargeant finishing a race without crashing so far, can you? But there we go. Bit of a shame, but it's been coming for several races now. Anyway, that'll do it for today. If you have enjoyed that, make sure you hit thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you are new, of course. I did notice Tom Coronel, if you're watching, mate, loved you in World Touring Cars, so I hope you are watching. He was liking the tweets for this. But yeah, we're going to have the final race of the season in Abu Dhabi, which will be nice. And yeah, question, I guess, for next season is, do we stick Crawford in the car? I mean, he's worse than Sargeant, so the answer's no, isn't it? It'll be K-Mags last year with us, of course. But anyway, until next time, take care. Bloody Mercedes, they were always going to do it, weren't they?